Ms. Davis, surrounded by her loving family of thugs and pathological liars.
All right, obviously this is not appropriate.
It's my pleasure to inform you that your court case is coming up sooner than you think.
You have something of a legal nature to discuss with Alexis. Contact Diane Miller.
I turned your cousin, Nicholas Cassidyne's name over to the SEC for his attempt at coercion. My son's wrongful death case will move forward. Christina will give her deposition next week.
If she is presented with proper paperwork, then she will comply, of course. She has nothing to hide.
Well, that's good, because she's going to have to answer for her lies and her slander.
Christina's mother told you proper procedure. Now, you need to contact Diane Miller, because she's the one who gets paid to listen to garbage like yours. Nobody else here is interested.
Well, I suggest you get interested. Your little respite is over. You're going to pay for what you did to my son.
Warren, please don't do this.
You'd be wise to listen to Alexis, because the more you run your mouth, the worse it's going to get for you.
Alexis left my son on the side of the road to die like he was nothing. And you, Keifer loved you. How could you? This is how you repay him? By spreading lies to anyone who will listen?
It wasn't a lie.
Well, Keifer isn't here to defend himself, is he? So I'm going to make sure that the truth does come out. And you're going to stay on that stand as long as it takes to admit that Keifer never laid a hand on you. No more dragging my son's name through the mud.
You know what? Back up. Because if you keep pushing this, you're going to have a lot more to worry about than your son's name.
My son was murdered, run down in the street, and left to die like an animal. There's nothing you can do to me.
It was an accident, Warren, and you know that.
What he did to Christina was no accident. She went to the hospital twice because your son beat the hell out of her like an animal.
Christina knows the truth.
And so do you, because abusers aren't born, they're taught. You get hit enough, eventually you hit back.
More baseless accusations. I can see how Christina comes by her lying so naturally.
I can see the truth all over your face. You knew damn well that your son was capable of doing what he did to Christina, and you did nothing. You want to know why? Because you hit Keifer first.
I never hit Keifer.
The hell you didn't. It's all starting to make sense now. The way Keifer would lay into Christina, beat her up so bad that she couldn't look in the mirror for weeks. That kind of rage comes from deep down inside from years of getting hit. Ironically, I'm starting to have a little more compassion for Keifer, because I know what it's like to be a scared little boy getting the hell beat out of you by a man your mother's too afraid to leave.
My son was nothing like you.
You're right, because I've never raised a hand to a woman. But you sure as hell did. You taught your son Keifer that a fist to the face is the way to handle things, and I'm sure that he hated you for it. Just like he hated himself every time he hit you, sweetheart.
You can make up all the stories you want. It doesn't change what really happened. What you did to my son, and you too. Keifer deserves justice, and he's gonna get it.
You need to leave right now before things get real ugly. You understand me?
Was that a threat?
Okay, listen to me. It's about time an accident happened to you. You know what I mean?
I need you to get me the medical records for Christina Corinthos Davis.
All medical records must have a court order before being released.
Which I have now just produced.
And all court orders must be presented to the hospital council.
I strongly suggest that you do what I ask. Or I am going to make sure that you end up dumping bedpans for the rest of your career.
And I strongly suggest that if you have a problem with my work, you can contact the Human Resources Department.
Corinthos got to you too, didn't he? Now you'll do anything to protect his little lying slut of a daughter.
Excuse me? How did I just hear you refer to a sweet 17-year-old girl?
Well, what business is that of yours?
She is my son's half-sister. That makes her family to me.
You have my condolences. It must be a real burden to be related to such trash.
Oh, you want to talk about trash, Mr. Bauer? You are the living, breathing definition of the word. Your kid beat Christina up so brutally he got her stuck in a hospital twice.
My son is dead because of that little bitch and her mother. If I don't get those hospital records by the end of the day, I am going to sue this hospital for obstruction of justice. Have you talked to the hospital attorneys? Well, find out if they've got that court order.
Sorry, they said we were supposed to clear the halls.
You're going to save me a lot of time and red tape, you know that?
What are you doing here?
This is a medical release for your medical records, and I want you to sign it. I got a letter yesterday about Keifer's freshman orientation.
It must have been terrible.
I know that you appreciate how hard Keifer worked to get into Harvard and how much it meant for his mother and me.
He wanted you to be proud of him.
I know it's not your fault that your mother is pressuring you to lie about it. And I know you want to do the right thing. You're going to testify in court that Keifer never hit you.
But he did hit me. And I finally understand why. You did the same thing to him.
And I know you want to do the right thing. You're going to testify in court that Keifer never hit you.
But he did hit me. And I finally understand why. You did the same thing to him.
You told the truth the first time, didn't you, Christina?
No.
Ethan Lovett hit you, remember? And now you're changing your story to help your mom.
I should have told my mom the first time Keifer hit me.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen. You've been under a lot of pressure to lie about my son.
Keifer was under a lot of pressure. He had to be great at everything, didn't he? Because he didn't want to set you off.
That's ridiculous.
Keifer loved you, but he was afraid of you at the same time.
My son respected me. He was not afraid of me.
I made Keifer look like a fool in front of a bunch of Harvard guys. But what was even worse, he had to answer to you. Did you beat him up that night? Did you blame him for what I did?
Of course not.
Did he tell you he beat me up?
He didn't beat you up, Christina, and you know that.
You sent him over to my house that night, didn't you? Keifer was so desperate for me to reinstate the charges against Ethan. You told him to make me change my mind. Keifer knew what was in for him if he failed.
I was so proud of him. Now he's gone. All the dreams I had for him are gone. Because of you. My son would still be alive if it wasn't for you. And how he had a violation ruin his reputation when he's not even here to defend himself.
I'm telling the truth.
You ruined his life! And then your mother killed him. And this whole town is trying to cover it up.
I didn't ruin Keifer's life, you did!
You lying little witch. Get away from her!